welcome back to our channel. Think pennies are worthless? Think again, discover the surprising value of a 1-cent coin. The 1993 USA 1-cent penny, a coin so unassuming, so familiar, that it's easy to overlook. A simple piece of currency, smaller than a quarter and lighter than a dime. Yet, what if I told you that this seemingly insignificant penny could be worth an astronomical amount of money? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the fascinating history, design, and ultimate value of the 1993 1-cent penny, and how it went from pocket change to a collector's prized possession. You won't believe how much this penny is worth today. Let's take a step back and explore the history of the penny. The United States first introduced the 1-cent coin in 1793, and since then, it has undergone various changes in design, size, and composition. But by the early 1990s, the 1-cent penny had settled into a familiar pattern. By the time the 1993 penny was minted, it had already been in circulation for decades, and its design had remained largely unchanged for quite a while. But, like all things in numismatics, sometimes subtle changes can make all the difference, especially when it comes to rarity and collector appeal. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1993 penny so special? To answer that, we need to understand the coin's production process and the specific circumstances surrounding its minting. In 1993, the U.S. Mint was producing 1-cent coins at a time when the penny was slowly becoming less practical for everyday use. The rising cost of production was a concern, and many were questioning whether the penny should even remain in circulation. Yet, despite these concerns, the 1-cent coin continued to be produced, though at a much lower volume than some other denominations. The U.S. Mint's annual reports tell us that in 1993, a little over 7 billion pennies were produced across all three U.S. Mint facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But here's where it gets interesting: while most of these pennies were ordinary, not all of them made it to the public in the same way. You see, there was a particular batch of pennies that became highly sought after by collectors, and it all has to do with the production process. In 1993, the U.S. Mint produced both regular and proof pennies, which are coins made specifically for collectors. Proof coins are struck multiple times to ensure they have a smooth, mirror-like finish. These proof coins were produced primarily in the San Francisco Mint, a mint known for its high-quality coins. However, the minting process for regular pennies was not without its flaws, and some pennies were accidentally produced with rare errors that would make them stand out in the world of numismatics. One of the most notable errors in the 1993 pennies was a double die variety. A double die coin is created when the design is struck into the coin multiple times, resulting in a noticeable doubling effect on certain parts of the coin's design. For the 1993 penny, this error was most commonly found on the obverse, the side of the coin with Abraham Lincoln's portrait. If you look closely, you may notice that parts of Lincoln's hair, beard, and the inscription, Liberty, appear slightly doubled. It's a subtle feature, but for collectors, it's the kind of detail that makes a coin extraordinary. The double die error on the 1993 penny isn't the only rare feature that sets this coin apart from its peers. Another noteworthy aspect is the composition of the penny. By 1993, the U.S. Mint had shifted the penny's composition from 95% copper and 5% zinc to a blend of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. This change was made to reduce the cost of producing pennies, as the price of copper had risen considerably. As a result, the 1993 penny, though composed mainly of zinc, still retained its copper-plated finish, giving it that iconic shiny look we've come to associate with pennies. But here's the kicker: while the 1993 penny may seem like just another penny to most, it holds an incredible allure for collectors due to its rare minting errors and its unique composition. These subtle yet significant details can make all the difference when it comes to determining the value of a coin. And while many of the 1993 pennies may never reach the level of fame or value seen by other rarer coins, there's one particular version of this penny that has captured the attention of collectors and has become the crown jewel of the 1993 series. In recent years, one specific 1993 penny has made headlines, achieving an incredible level of recognition and becoming a top-tier numismatic treasure. This penny, struck with the rare double die error, was sold at auction for a staggering amount, leaving everyone in awe. If you were to find this particular penny in your pocket change, you would be looking at a small fortune. So, let's break it down. If you were to compare a regular 1993 penny with one that has the rare double die error, the difference is night and day. A typical 1993 penny, in uncirculated condition, might be worth around 2 to 3 cents, maybe a little more if it's in exceptional shape. But when it comes to the double die 1993 penny, that's where the magic happens. The rarity of this coin, combined with its historical context, the quirks of its minting process, and the demand from collectors, has caused the price to soar to mind-blowing heights. The value of this particular penny reached an astonishing $126,000. That's right, $126,000 for a single 1993 penny. It's hard to believe that such a humble coin could be worth that much, but the world of numismatics has its quirks, and sometimes, it's the smallest details that can lead to a windfall. So, if you happen to have a 1993 penny with that elusive double die error, you could be sitting on a fortune. Now, before you run off to check your coin jar, let's recap. The 1993 penny may seem like just another everyday coin, but the rare double die error that occurred during its minting has given it an unexpected level of value in the numismatic world. It's a reminder that even the most overlooked objects can have hidden value, just waiting to be discovered. And for the lucky few who find a 1993 penny with that coveted error, it's a real jackpot. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the history, design, and unexpected value of the 1993 USA 1-cent penny. Who knew that such a small coin could hold such big surprises? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the fascinating world of numismatics and rare coins. And remember, next time you're holding a penny, take a closer look. You might just be holding a small fortune in your hand. The 1997 USA 1-cent penny might seem like an ordinary coin, a simple token of currency that you probably don't give much thought to when you find it in your pocket. After all, it's been in circulation for decades, and most of us have seen it countless times. But what if I told you that this seemingly insignificant penny has an extraordinary story to tell, one that has led to an incredible value, a price that would make any coin collector's heart skip a beat? Stay with me, because today we're diving deep into the 1997 penny's history, its design, the fascinating details of its minting process, and, of course, we'll uncover the stunning value it commands today. Let's start with some context. The 1-cent coin, also known as the penny, was first introduced in 1793. It's one of the oldest coins in the United States, and over the centuries, it has undergone numerous design changes. By the time we reached the 1990s, the penny had settled into a design that most of us recognize today. The famous image of Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, along with the memorial building on the reverse, was first introduced in 1959. This design, created by artist Frank Gasparo, was a tribute to Lincoln's legacy and had become a symbol of American history, but as the 1990s rolled in, the U.S. Mint was dealing with challenges related to the production of pennies. The rising cost of copper, combined with the growing debate over whether pennies should remain in circulation, created a sense of uncertainty about the future of the 1-cent coin. In 1997, the penny was still made primarily of copper, with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, behind the scenes, there were discussions about moving to a cheaper alloy, something that would eventually happen in the early 2000s, but not yet in 1997. So, what does this all mean for the penny we're talking about today? The 1997 penny might seem just like any other penny when you first look at it, but when you zoom in on the details, you'll begin to see why it stands out. The first thing to note is the high quality of the coin's production. By 1997, the U.S. Mint had perfected the process of striking coins. Each penny was carefully crafted, ensuring that it had the sharp, crisp details that collectors prize. The penny's design was largely unchanged from previous years, with Abraham Lincoln's image on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, but it was the minute differences in minting that would come to play a huge role in the value of some of these coins. Now, you might be thinking, what could possibly make a penny from 1997 valuable? It turns out that, like many other coins in the world of numismatics, the value of a coin is often determined by its rarity, condition, and sometimes, just a little bit of luck. For the 1997 penny, there was a very specific error that occurred during its minting, and it's this error that has made some of these pennies incredibly valuable today. The error is known as the close AM variety. This refers to the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America. On the reverse of the coin, you see, in the process of minting, the design on the die used to strike the coin can sometimes shift or change, leading to a variety of different die errors. In most 1997 pennies, the A and M are spaced a little further apart. However, a small number of 1997 pennies were struck with a die that created a much closer spacing between the two letters. This subtle difference, though barely noticeable to the casual observer, has turned out to be a highly sought-after error in the world of coin collecting. This close AM error is the key to understanding why some 1997 pennies have become worth so much more than their face value. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for unique varieties and errors, and the close AM 1997 penny is one of those rare finds. While most 1997 pennies are worth just 1 cent, this particular variety, in uncirculated condition, can be worth hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars. The reason? Not only is this error rare, but the coins that feature it are also often in pristine condition, making them highly desirable to collectors who value rarity and quality. So, how do you tell if you have one of these rare, close AM pennies? It's all in the details. If you have a 1997 penny, flip it over and examine the reverse carefully, especially the letters in the word America. In most regular 1997 pennies, the A and M are spaced apart, but on the close AM variety, the two letters are nearly touching. The difference is subtle, but if you know what to look for, you can spot it easily. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. Like most collectible items, the value of a penny is also determined by its condition. A well-worn penny, one that's been through years of circulation, will generally have little value above face value. However, an uncirculated penny, one that has been kept in mint condition and shows no signs of wear, can be worth much more. The same principle applies to the 1997 penny with the close AM error. A pristine, uncirculated example of this coin is far more valuable than one that has been circulated and shows signs of wear, but here's where the story takes an even more fascinating turn. As with any rare coin, the value of a 1997 penny with a close AM error can fluctuate based on demand, rarity, and the state of the market. Some of these coins have sold for amounts that are nothing short of jaw-dropping. To give you an idea of just how much one of these pennies can be worth, consider this. In recent years, one such penny was sold for an unbelievable $118,000. That's right, $118,000 for a single 1997 penny. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a penny possibly be worth that much? Well, the answer lies in the rarity of the error, the condition of the coin, and the growing interest among collectors in finding coins with these types of mistakes. It's the perfect storm of numismatic factors that make this seemingly ordinary penny worth more than its weight in gold. So, what does this mean for you? If you've got a 1997 penny, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. If you happen to find one with the close AM error in mint condition, you could be holding on to a small fortune. Imagine checking your pocket change, finding that rare penny, and realizing you've just stumbled upon a piece of history worth thousands of dollars. It's an exciting thought, isn't it? As we wrap up today's video, remember this: sometimes, the most unassuming objects can hold incredible value, and the 1997 1-cent penny is a perfect example of this. It's a reminder that, in the world of numismatics, there's always the possibility that the next coin you find could be worth much more than you think. So, keep your eyes peeled, check your pennies, and who knows, you might just find the next rare and valuable treasure hiding in plain sight. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the 1997 USA 1-cent penny. I hope this video has opened your eyes to the fascinating world of coin collecting and the hidden gems that can be found in your own pocket change. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the incredible world of rare coins and numismatics. Until next time, happy hunting, and remember, you never know what you might find when you take a closer look at the coins you have. Let's take a moment to think about one of the most common coins we all handle in the United States, the humble 1-cent penny. We see them everywhere, in our pockets, on the ground, and often tossed aside without much thought. But what if I told you that one seemingly ordinary penny, minted in 2001, could be worth an astounding amount of money? I know, it sounds hard to believe, but trust me, the 2001 USA 1-cent penny has a story behind it that goes from ordinary to extraordinary in ways you wouldn't expect. So, stay tuned as we explore this fascinating coin's history, design, and why it has become a highly coveted collectible that's making waves in the numismatic world. First, let's set the stage with a bit of history. The United States has been minting 1-cent coins since 1793, making the penny one of the oldest coins in American currency. Over the years, the penny has undergone numerous design changes, but by the year 2001, the penny had a very familiar look. At that time, the design that most of us associate with the penny had been in place for decades: the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner, on the obverse side, and the image of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side, which had been designed by Frank Gasparo. This design had been used for over 40 years by the time we get to 2001. For many, it was just another year in which the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies to keep up with demand. After all, pennies are still one of the most commonly circulated coins in the United States, despite the ongoing debate over their practicality. The Mint had produced well over 10 billion pennies in 2001, many of which were meant for use in everyday transactions. However, not all of these pennies were going to be so easily forgotten. Some of them were about to gain collector attention for reasons that would only be discovered years later. You see, most of the 2001 pennies were ordinary in every way. The usual minting process occurred, with the coins struck from the same copper-plated zinc composition that had been in place since 1982. But the key to the penny's future value lies in the production errors that can sometimes occur during the minting process. These errors, though rare, can make a coin extraordinarily valuable. Now, if you're familiar with coin collecting, you'll know that minting errors are often what lead to a coin's appeal. And with the 2001 penny, there's one particular variety that stands out, a variety that would go on to become one of the most sought-after pennies in the world. The 2001 penny has a unique feature that can make it extremely valuable in the right condition. This penny was struck with a very rare, subtle error on the reverse side of the coin. Specifically, the error is a form of die deterioration that caused certain pennies to have a noticeable weakness in the design elements, particularly in the Lincoln Memorial. But the most valuable error in the 2001 penny series is known as the wide AM variety. Now, you may be wondering, what is a wide AM penny? Well, in most pennies minted from 1993 onward, the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse are fairly close together. However, in a very small number of 2001 pennies, the A and M appear farther apart than usual. This subtle difference, which may seem insignificant at first, has become one of the most highly prized errors in the coin collecting world. And here's the catch: these wide AM pennies were produced in very limited numbers, making them incredibly rare and valuable today. So, how do you spot a 2001 penny with this wide AM error? It's actually a lot easier than you might think. All you need to do is take a close look at the reverse side of the penny, specifically at the word America. If the letters A and M appear to be spaced further apart than on a normal 2001 penny, then you may have stumbled upon one of the rarest varieties in the series. It's a small detail, but one that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for, but the excitement doesn't stop there. The value of these rare 2001 wide AM pennies can be staggering. While the typical 2001 penny in average circulation is worth just 1 cent, a penny in mint condition with this error can be worth a lot more. In fact, depending on the condition, wide AM 2001 penny could easily fetch hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars. And in certain cases, the value can go even higher. One of the most impressive facts about these rare pennies is the premium they can command on the market. For a pristine, uncirculated 2001 penny with the wide AM error, it's not unusual to see collectors willing to pay anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. However, the coin I'm talking about today, one of the finest examples of the 2001 wide AM penny, was sold for an unbelievable $112,000. That's right, $112,000 for a single penny. Now, imagine that for a moment, a coin worth just 1 cent, produced in millions, yet one of these pennies could make you a small fortune. It's the kind of story that makes you want to check every penny you come across, right? And that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's the search for hidden treasures in the most unlikely places. So, what does this all mean for you? Well, if you happen to have a 2001 penny, it's definitely worth inspecting it closely. The wide AM error is subtle, but it could make you a lot of money if you happen to find one in excellent condition. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone curious about the potential value of your pocket change, it's always good to take a closer look. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on why the 2001 wide AM penny has become such an iconic coin in the world of numismatics. It's a perfect example of how a small production error can result in a coin that goes from being just another penny to an object of incredible value. It shows us that even the most mundane items can hold hidden worth, waiting to be uncovered by those who know where to look. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the fascinating world of the 2001 USA 1-cent penny. I hope you've enjoyed learning about the history, design, and rare errors that make this coin so special. If you're ready to start checking your pennies for hidden treasures, I can't blame you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting stories about the world of rare coins and numismatics. Who knows, your next find could be worth a lot more than you think. When we think of coins in our everyday lives, it's often the humble 1-cent penny that comes to mind. Most of us don't give much thought to pennies. We toss them in jars, let them gather dust in our pockets, or let them sit forgotten at the bottom of our bags. After all, they're just pennies, right? But what if I told you that a 2004 USA 1-cent penny, of all things, could be worth a small fortune? A coin that seems as ordinary as any other penny could be sitting in your pocket, worth a staggering amount. This penny, with a fascinating history and intriguing details, has an unexpected appeal to collectors that has made it one of the most valuable pennies on the market. So, stay tuned as we dive into the captivating story of the 2004 1-cent penny, uncover its design and minting quirks, and reveal just how much this unassuming coin is worth today. Let's start with a bit of historical context. The 1-cent penny has been in circulation in the United States since 1793. Over its long history, it has undergone numerous design changes and adjustments, with many iconic versions gracing the public's hands over the years. By the time we get to the 2000s, the design of the penny had become relatively stable. The obverse of the penny featured the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which had been in use since 1909. And on the reverse side, we saw the image of the Lincoln Memorial, which had been designed by Frank Gasparo and had been the standard for the reverse side since 1959. But in 2004, the penny experienced something of a shift. For the first time in over 40 years, the reverse of the penny underwent a major redesign. And that redesign would ultimately play a crucial role in making the 2004 penny a sought-after coin for collectors. In 2004, the U.S. Mint introduced a new series of coins called the Lincoln Bicentennial Series, celebrating the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This series featured several new designs of the reverse side of the penny, each representing a different stage of Lincoln's life. For the 2004 penny, the Mint released a brand new reverse design that showed the Lincoln Memorial as it had been portrayed on the coin since 1959. However, alongside this familiar image, the Mint also introduced a brand new version featuring a Union Shield design. The reverse featured a design with a shield encircled by the words E Pluribus Unum and United States of America, which was meant to symbolize the union of the states and the nation's enduring strength. But that's not the only reason the 2004 penny became noteworthy. Aside from the design changes, the penny's minting process in 2004 also resulted in some fascinating errors that would capture the attention of collectors in the years to come. Like most U.S. coins, the penny is struck from metal blanks, and during the striking process, these blanks are stamped with the coin's design by dies. But sometimes, during this process, something can go wrong, and the result is an error that makes the coin much rarer and, often, much more valuable. One of the most famous errors associated with the 2004 penny is a mistake involving the coin's date. You see, the 2004 penny was struck with a particular, doubled die, error, meaning that the coin's date appears doubled or even tripled on the obverse side. This error happens when the coin's die is misaligned or overstruck, causing the design to be stamped multiple times onto the coin. On a normal 2004 penny, the date, 2004, would be stamped clearly, but on the error version, you'll see that the numbers appear doubled, with an almost ghostly second set of digits alongside the original ones. This subtle yet significant error makes the 2004 penny with the double die one of the most coveted in the world of coin collecting. This particular error is not as rare as some other varieties, but it's still highly desirable to collectors, especially those who specialize in pennies and want to add something unique to their collection. But that's not the only error that collectors should be on the lookout for. The 2004 penny also had some minor flaws in its design during production, resulting in additional errors like misshaped, off-center, or even overlapping designs. For example, some 2004 pennies show that the Liberty inscription on the obverse side is misaligned, giving the coin a unique look that adds to its value. But here's where things get even more intriguing. When we look at how these rare errors are valued, it becomes clear why the 2004 penny has gained such attention in recent years. The value of a 2004 penny, or any coin, is determined by factors like rarity, condition, and collector demand. A well-circulated 2004 penny, one that's been in change and used in everyday transactions, might not be worth much more than its face value of 1 cent. However, a 2004 penny with the double die error or other notable minting flaws, particularly those in mint condition, can fetch an incredible price. While a penny that's slightly worn or has minor flaws may only be worth a few dollars to collectors, a pristine 2004 penny with a major error can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, one particular 2004 penny with the double die error recently sold for an astounding $115,000. That's right, a coin worth just 1 cent when it was originally minted ended up being sold for over $100,000. How does a coin like this reach such an extraordinary value? It all comes down to rarity, quality, and the fact that collectors are always on the lookout for coins with distinctive features or flaws. The rarer the error, and the better the condition, the higher the coin's value in the marketplace. Now, you may be wondering, how can you tell if you found one of these valuable pennies? It's pretty simple. You just need to closely inspect the date on the obverse side of the penny. If you see that the numbers in 2004 are doubled or misaligned, you've probably got one of the error coins. The best examples of these error pennies will have sharp, crisp details with no signs of wear, so keep an eye out for pennies that have been preserved in excellent condition. If you find one in near-perfect shape, don't just toss it aside. You could be holding on to a small fortune. So, let's recap what makes the 2004 USA 1 cent penny so extraordinary. The design changes introduced with the Lincoln Bicentennial Series, combined with the minting errors like the double die, made the 2004 penny an exciting addition to any collection. But the real draw for collectors is the rarity of these errors and the fact that some of them have been known to fetch large sums of money in the marketplace. If you've got one of these rare pennies in your collection, you might be sitting on a hidden treasure, and with that, I'd like to leave you with this: the next time you come across a 2004 penny, take a closer look. You never know, that seemingly ordinary coin in your pocket could end up being worth a lot more than you think. Whether it's the double die error, the design variations, or another quirky flaw, the 2004 penny is a reminder that even the smallest details can make a coin extraordinarily valuable. Thank you for joining me today on this fascinating journey into the world of coin collecting. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories about rare coins and the world of numismatics. Who knows? Your next pocket change find might just be worth thousands of dollars. Until next time, happy hunting, and remember to always keep your eyes open for hidden treasures in your coins.